don't think he can continue keep microing. Well, he's going to try, wait for reinforcements and try to make it to his blockhouses. The question is, how much damage will he going to be taking? This is nice micro from Ungers, but you know, the Automatons just have to attack move here. And 1.5 fire rate, they do have staff animation. And
Welcome back, everybody, to the stream. We're going to hop into game number 2 as soon as the game appears back on the server, but I don't think it's currently up at the moment. Oh god, yeah, you've still got the old scoreboard, haven't you? And you still that is actually Shake's house. Okay, for some reason I thought I was come get some place. Like, oh hey, that's fine. So that game 1, that was a. I think if I was Rohbrot, I'd be a bit disappointed. It's okay. I think the best thing about a play all 5 series is that you know you have plenty of time to kind of come back into the situation and get points on the board. Every game matters. There's no game which doesn't matter. So I think that's going to reassure his position, and I'm sure he's got some fantastic play with some Spain, some Ottos, maybe some Germany, maybe some China, Italy as well, USA. Rohbrot's got plenty of cities absolutely fine to play with, so I don't think we'll take it too much to heart for that one. If I'm being super pedantic, Craft, Psionic is spelt with an I instead of a Y. It's French Psionic. Not It's definitely PSION. Speaking of well, I can't even link that. Where the hell is Shake? I mean, I know he's waiting for a smoke break, but my god, is he chain smoking 10 back to back? I just seen Shake appear from the distance and walking down.
Hello there.
Did you enjoy your tactical break?
I did indeed. Let's hope the players are ready as well, because I'm ready.
You're not ready. You've literally just sat down. You're probably still out of breath from walking to the PC. Yeah, that's right. You're so out of breath, you can't even respond.
No.
Where you go? Right, let's make some good progress, I think, and hop on to the next game.
All right, we're ready. Let's do it. I'll introduce the players for the next game, and yeah, I think when it comes to this matchup, I know what Rohbrot is planning here, and I think it can work quite well against the Cav Heavy Civ.
Oh, Sonic playing Hauser. That's an inspired pick. I'm not going to lie, I don't rate Hauser that highly as a Civ. I'm a bit surprised this has been coming out in a tournament series of this importance.
I have seen Hauser being picked here multiple times. I don't really understand the logic behind it, but yeah, especially if France is going to go heavier on. So let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Oh, we're not there yet? Okay, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm just so eager to cast these games. Like, I'm so happy. I've got Big Harrison here. Got my good friend Kraft. 2 of my great friends, Rohbrot and Psionic. Rohbrot, one of my best friends in the game. We're playing. I'm just so hyped today. Just in such a good mood. And yeah, let's get this show rolling, man. Switching the university. But yeah, okay, I got you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 of this Play All 5 series hosted by ESOC TV for the ESOC Premier League. On the south side of the map, representing the Hudson Bay Bigs, we have Rohbrot playing in the color blue as the French. And on the north side of the map, his opponent playing in the color red as the Hausa Civilization, representing the Cursor Management Company. is Psionic. Now, this map, I know what France is going to do. I think you also know what France is going to do. He's going to go for the Klamats. He's going to go for the Newt because we have seen EZ do that before. Now, I think it's a nice counterplay to Hausa. Hausa, a civ that usually goes Raider, Javelin heavy. Their Skirm in H2, yes, has multipliers against heavy infantry, but not the highest attack. Once you manage to get in, a backward here, not that great for him, but the granary will just bring them back probably. Once you get in all these native combat techs, you know, these units kind of become unkillable at a certain stage in the game. Who would you rather be in?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I kind of like the fact that Hausa have access to the Fulani Archer versus a Nuka, Klamath, and potential Royal Musketeer combination. The fact we have a Archer-based unit which is naturally trades good versus skirmishers and has a 2x multiplier, or might be 1.5, but strong multipliers versus the Nuka makes it feel pretty safe. Although native play is really good, I mean, Nukas aren't the best natives for spamming and fighting with, so it's not as good as you kind of doing a strategy on an equivalent European map or some sort. So I think in terms of a Civ matchup here on this map, I'm slightly edging towards the Hausa situation here. Also, it's stuff that they have access to cans. They have quite a lot of native TPs nearby that they can kind of try and fortify with Hausa Kingdom builders. But he's got to be very careful that he actually gets them secured before Rohbrot snatches them up himself for his own benefit.
Yeah, I see the assessment here, but I don't know if Rohbrot's going to be able to go for 12-10, which he shouldn't be able to on this map. He should comfortably be able to go for 13 or 14. For a 13. There we go. Because he gets all these, he usually doesn't even need to chop. But he opens for the market. Nice. So market hunting dogs as well. 13 age up. This feels good. This feels natural. If we're just going to take a look at his deck right here. There we go. Napoleon guns, he calls this deck. We are seeing 3 bills. We are seeing the H1 native combat. We are seeing native treaties. More native combat in H2. We also see the Wilderness Warfare card. But what I find interesting that is lacking is we don't see the Royal Embassy. Now, Hausa kind of struggles against Musketeers in H2. And especially against what is probably the best H2 Musketeer in the Royal Natives. And I know me and you share the same opinion about how broken that card is and how unnecessary it is for a civ like France to even have that in its arsenal. So I'm surprised to see he's not even going for it.
I really dislike the fact that he's got no factories in the 4th age. Maybe there might be a revolt to Canada play in the 4th age. You could go, instead of staying 4th, you can kind of aim for that if he eventually gets to that stage in the game. But although it's stuff like Furia on principle on this map is a fantastic card thanks to Berry Bushes, you'd still rather send Spice Trade, and by the time you get to the point of sending in cards like that, I don't know, I think all these cards are nice, but there's quite a lot of key cards we get there beforehand. He's going for early native treaties here instead of 4 CDB or 700 wood, so looking to be quite aggressive here. He's only got 1 TP being built. Hasn't even got another TP being at least being remote built, which I think is a... Oh, he has. You just had it selected. Oh, it was white on the screen. No, fair enough. Okay, well, he's going to have a Kamath Nuka opening and will be relatively aggressive with this. And we'll see how Hausa deals with him. Sure, Sark has defensive buildings. Will have the equivalent of a war camping base. And,
and I have a feeling this is gonna go really, really bad for Psionic here because you've got these Nutkas coming in so early, and look at him, he's gonna get a full 10 batch of Nutkas, and we don't even have a military building built yet for Hausa. He's just gonna go and right click, and the native treaties are coming in. Let's see how many units he's getting from these native treaties in the middle of the map really quickly. Now there we go. Okay, so 4 more Klamats and 5 more Nutkas. This is actually an insane rush, and how is Psionic ever going to hold this? He doesn't have any units out on the floor that can contest this. If we're switching over to the Hausa perspective, we're seeing that he's completely pop capped. He's not going to be able to get more than 3 Fulani archers out. He's
this
getting he's getting a
is
shipment
over.
of wood as well, and this really just looks over. Yeah, like these villagers are being targeted by the Klamath and the Nutka right now. He's taking out all the houses super smartly. Rohbrot going for the jugular at minute 5 instead of at minute 20 like he did last game, and he realized that to play against Psionic you just have to destroy him as early as possible, and that is kind of what he's doing. And look, all this infantry is going down, all this mass of his is going down as well. Barracks is going down, no houses out for Hausa. Even if he were to gather the influence on the floor and get the Songhai, like, what are the Songhai even going to do here? And the next thing that he's going to right-click is probably that TC, and there is absolutely zero that Psionic can do about it.
Yeah, you can make it's a very interesting point. Hausa have no real access to Minutemen, so there's no fallback time that unit ship of Minutemen push this all back. I'm surprised you get 5 nuclear from the native treaties, because that's 500 res worth of stuff. So that card there was about 900 res worth of units, or maybe 850 once you add in the math. So a very good technology there, and I think it's kind of maybe a bit overstrong for these natives. But you gotta respect the hustle, respect the prep, and going in for the houses as well. Follow up, really hurting Stark's ability to get stuff out in the field. I think it's a good play. Yes, Phalanxes do come in, but I think that TC is going to be committed down and rightfully
Yeah, and the
so.
3 Haas are also there to deal with them. If you can just look at the fight, yeah, the 3 Hazars are in. They're just going to be able to right-click these Fulanis, and there's nothing really to body block these Fulanis. And yeah, I mean, the game is over. And with this game being over, because this TC goes down in the next couple of seconds, there we go. All the vills are going to get right-clicked. And ladies and gentlemen, this has officially eliminated CMC from final contention, and Rohbrot has managed to secure SKG's place in the final.
All right, GG's guys. Let's see you next week, and we'll end the stream there. Then bye.
I mean, we're definitely gonna keep playing both of these series. We're gonna have Ketchup Boy versus Julian Geh later on. So that's gonna be a good series as well. But yeah,
That would be a fantastic series.
Like Psionic is learning what AoE mechanics, running around, building, rebuilding. No, this is AoE 3. Preparedness for a map, game knowledge, map knowledge, and just being an absolute monster, which Rohbrot is doing. And look at him when he goes for the jugular. He doesn't let off, not even for a single second. He has managed to wipe out the entire Hausa base.
He's going to be down to 2 vills, I think. That one vill on the left will go down, and that vill on the right might go down too. Oh, he's going to stay at 3. Stay at 3 vills.
Yeah, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen. And the game is over just like that. Wow.
Well, I mean, you could see it from a mile off, and I was expecting Hausa to be able to get like a batch of maybe 5 Falaris plus 5 from the home city to defend. But I guess that's the. I don't think he did the Hausa kind of kingdom builder in the pivot. Maybe I don't think he. No, he hasn't got it. He's got the Eco Fairy card there. So I'm surprised how he wasn't ready to defend the hand infantry coming in behind. One thing to remember though from Nutka, they are very efficient at siege and buildings. They have decent siege attack, and they survive 3 shots from the town center, or they get killed by 3 shots. They survive 2. So yeah, it doesn't feel great to siege them down with TC fire. And obviously, once they've been teched with military cards, as you see now, then I guess they actually survive 3 shots and need 4 kills, or 4 shots to kill them. So yeah, well, good play, good strategy, and I think Rohbrot can breathe a sigh of relief. It doesn't really matter how the rest of the series goes, actually, from Rohbrot's point of view. He's done his job. He's come in, and yeah, good game. Well, we should probably move on to the next game.
Yeah, I do want to note as well, for those watching us right now, Rohbrot has woken up today, and he's been really sick. He's got a cold. He was a question to play today, but he decided to soldier through it, and he said, I'm going to play regardless of what happens. And yeah, and look at him. He's performing as if he's at the peak of his powers right now. This game, at least. And yeah, this is looking like it's going to be a very, very fun series. I think Kraft forgot. Oh, no, there's your beautiful face, Harrison. I was already missing you. And yeah, just a very good game by Rohbrot. I already have the matchups for the next game. So on Malaysia, it is going to be Ottomans played by Rohbrot, and counter-picking him is Psionic counter-picking with France. Now, from my perspective, as someone who's somewhat become an Ottoman mainly, it's one of the matchups I hate most, especially on a map like Malaysia, where France just has all of that livestock that they can gather. Very quick 12-10. France doesn't even need to bother with any H2 gameplay. They can just go straight up to H3. It's a very tough matchup, especially if France decides to go for the classic Skirm Goon. It kind of cancels out a Falcon at FF, and you really are forced to go into the direction of either an FI or you play with Cav Archer Abus. And FI is too punishable, especially at this level. So Cav Archer Abus, but in the beginning, in early H3, France just outmasses you so hard. It's genuinely difficult not to lose your mass before you're able to fight. Otto needs like a solid 3 to 4 minutes to get a mass where they can kind of contest the French army. So what I've seen players like Caterboy do, and I'm trying to mimic as well when I play France, is that more of an extended Huss semi-FF with water gameplay, but knowing Rohbrot, he doesn't even know what fishing boat looks like. So I doubt we'll see any of that or a deli. So what do you think, Harrison?
Yeah, I think that you're right in the sense that when you've done Malaysia, you have access to a lot of these water buffaloes. They are the cow class equivalent of the herdables, so it'll be interesting to see if you can add in maybe a livestock pen. If you have like 6 or 7 cows, you can get them really fattened early on, which is really nice. That helps your momentum. I like the idea of actually what you're saying, prolonged age 2 for double Huss, double Mus production, just siege down buildings and force Otto purely onto the water. Otherwise, going to age 3 early aggression and kind of really try and play very well behind it. So we'll have to see the options. Players are in the game, so let's switch over.
All right, Harrison, introduce our players, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 3. We're on Malaysia for a French versus Ottoman game. Psionic. Oh, Rohbrot spawned down to the southwest in the colour orange, playing as Ottoman. Players now. I swear these players weren't playing these colours before. With Psionic playing French. Spawned to the northeast of the map in the colour red. Rohbrot runs straight for his local TP. Psionic runs straight for his local. I think both players realise that going for your closest train post here makes the most sense. You don't want to walk to a train post and get denied. A lot of good treasures nearby, a lot of good scouting potential here from France. I'm expecting Psionic to kind of dominate the age 1. He's looking to steal some of the water buffaloes, but Psionic is running back with his native scout. He should know that the water buffaloes spawn essentially along the trading line. He's kind of gone for a weird direction here. He's trying to scout what he's already scouted. I'm not a fan of that, but these are some of the little details you kind of get with more experience. Oh, he's gone that way. Oh, he's just missed 2 to the northwest of the map. But I'm sure there's plenty more to pick up.
It's that experience you're talking about at the end of the day, Harrison. The scouting pattern on a player like Psionic is like these little details that just keep him from being like that next level pro, right? That he will learn eventually with time. I've always said this is like he's popping his cherry with this tournament, right? This is the first tournament he's participating in. It's going to be so invaluable to him in generating that experience that he needs to eventually become the top player he's destined to be in the future. And yeah, Rohbrot, knowing the map well again, going to get as much livestock as he can get with his limited abilities of only having 1 explorer. If we're looking at the yak count at the moment, Rohbrot, if I'm not mistaken, is on 3 yaks. 1 is being eaten right now. And if we switch over to Psionic's side, he currently has how many yaks? Psionic has only 3 as well. Okay, but he has eaten a couple to get an early 12-10, and his 12-10 timing is actually really, really good. So he's going to be up at around 337, 338, I think, which is really, really nice for France. And yeah, let's look at the middle of the map. There is a treasure being taken by Psionic. Small treasure of 20 XP and 20 coin being taken. And if we switch over to Rohbrot, let's see what the Ottoman deck comprises of. He's fully on food right now, not gathering any coin. He's probably looking to go for his name is very accurately named Anfanger, just beginner deck. Not really being too fancy with the deck names. And we do see the classic Chan Combat, Bahi, Big Spur. We are seeing the 22 Azeps in H4, which I know is a card that you absolutely despise, Harrison. But it is genuinely one of the best H4 cards for auto, at least resource value wise. And on the other
I
side,
despise it for being too good, Shake. You know
I
that.
understand that. I understand that. And on the other side, if we are looking at Psionic's deck right now, we are seeing that his deck is comprising of anything AW, which is sort of an anti-water deck, and I like it. He does have pioneers in it. He has pioneers probably in every single one of his decks. Now, please do remember to update the scorecraft. It is currently 1-1 between these two players. I know it bugs a couple of people when the score isn't updated, but thank you in advance for that. Now, aging up, steel traps, 2 cow for Rohbrot here. Rohbrot age, as is normal. France is one of the earliest aging civs on this map. And yeah, just straight away going for the 700 coin. I think he thinks he's playing Spain because he only has 100 coin and he doesn't have the two.
Yeah, so I guess the question for Rohbrot, if we was to ask him afterwards, is why were we picking Ottoman on this map when this map, it doesn't really shine that brightly for Otto unless you're going for water. With no attempts to go water himself, just pure land build. But this kind of feels that this map generally favours French a bit more due to the extra scouting, like with that early 12-10 play behind. So I think it's an interesting one. This could be a really nice Spain pick as well on this map with the extra War Dog for the scouting, for the Water Buffaloes, and for those extra treasures, because there's quite a lot of good treasures here. He's going to age up to the third age, and Rohbrot's style of Otto has always been kind of essentially just Jan Falk. Really is Jan Falk. Maybe drop down Artillery Foundry, spam more Falks behind it. It might be a style that Sark isn't quite familiar to fight against. Maybe he's kind of used to the kind of the spy EFI and play that way, or maybe some Cav Archer Abus. I don't think we'll be seeing Cav Archer Abus from Rohbrot.
Yeah, I mean, Rohbrot forgot a little bit of coin on the floor there, but we'll forgive for it. He managed to get that coin later on, and he's still aging up at a competitive time. On the north side, if we can switch over to the French perspective, we are seeing Pikes very nicely coming out there, trying to take down that TP. 700 coin coming in behind, and 20 CDBs for France right now. Economically, he's ahead, so he's going to decide to go for the 10 Pike semi rather than the 5 Pike, which I can understand. He's going to take the TP quicker. He's probably going to go to the base, trying to get a house, trying to get a mosque, or maybe force a reaction in the sense of Minutemen. But yeah, I like the start from Psionic a little bit more than Roll.
Yeah, and the extra 5 Pike there, if it doesn't slow your age up down, you're not really losing too much. You get yourself extra protection from age through Spahi, or maybe a Delhi age up pivot with the Scout. So nothing too wrong with this. Jan's being trained transition, makes sense. I wonder if I expect Rohbrot to be aged up with the Scout for the 4 Delhis in transition. Jans do come out, house will go down, but maybe if you can back away from this with only minimal losses, yeah, that's still a nice little raid there from Psionic, and gets to see what Rohbrot is up to. That extra food that was stockpiled in transition to the third age, it's being used for Janissary production, but could have been a launch pad there for an early 5 Spahi time, and mix in with these Janissaries would be a very tough thing for France to hold early on.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is that a player like Psionic, these Pikes have paid for themselves so much. He took down an XP, which isn't only a 200 wood building, it is, you know, so much tempo and momentum for Ottoman losing that TP. And look at how he's just trying to keep Rohbrot occupied, like going back and forth against these Delhis. He knows these Delhis can't engage. Now taking down the house build, putting pressure on the market, and if these Pikes manage to back off, eventually when the Spies will arrive, and he will need something to body block with. Like, sure, the Spies can make quick work of 5 Pikes that are remaining, but they're gonna be an extra obstacle for these Spies to try and engage. And another thing to micro, just absolutely great play by Psionic right now. Just an absolute pleasure watching him just use these minimalistic units, resource-wise, just to its absolute maximum potential.
Ooh, so yeah, Rohbrot was going to siege down Psionic's train post, deal with the pikes, send in falconets, vet janissaries, all that good stuff. But I was looking to see what this next card was going to be, and looking at that food stockpile, it would have made sense for him to send in Spahis to kind of reinforce this Jan Falk push. But the more Jan's going to come in now, might be a while before they cross the map, and he's kind of got this awkward mass of food just stockpiled there. Oh, there's dragoons onto the Falks.
Oh no, and the Falcons are gonna go down, and usually in Psionic games it's him that gets zero value out of his. For Rohbrot, Falcons are his most important unit. They're absolutely pivotal for everything he does, and just losing the Falcons is just killed his entire momentum, and dare I say it, the game is probably over from here, because I don't know how...
No, definitely not. The Jan's moving in, though. They trade very well with the Goons. It's a bit of a shame that Rohbrot
What are they gonna kill, though? What are they gonna kill? And these Dragoons are gonna go back into the Ottoman base and idle him more.
Well, you can just keep moving the Jans forward and force the action back onto Sark's point of view. Maybe at least to see what Sark's up to. He would like to be sending skirms. 8 skirms coming in, plus 5 defensively. Minutemen available as well. With a CDB pool, if he wanted to go for that level behind Dragoons, wrapping around, cutting off reinforcements. So yeah, it looks like to be a safe little defense there. And quite often on the ladder these days, you don't see Jan FF because, well, there's plenty of other great strategies, and would have wanted to see a bit of water play on Malaysia. But yeah, Rohbrot with a single composition at the moment, he's got no rights for this fight. He's going to try and run away. I don't think he's sending a second comp behind. Maybe he's going to need 5 Delhi or Spahis or Mams, but I don't think any of them are coming. Let's have a look at Rohbrot's point of view. Okay, 5 Delhis are coming behind, but you know, it's could have potentially saved some of the livestock for a big 5 Spahi timing, but 5 H2 Delhis will be a
5 Delhi will do a job if he manages to catch off these skirms, but no, he's kind of trying to drag box his army together by the looks of things. Finally, the Delhi are connecting. The Delhi need to connect as much as possible. Like, with the Jans, don't shoot. Keep moving forward. Do not shoot even once with these Jans. Keep walking until you have literally just one. Like, Rohbrot, you see that he's just trying to get a couple of shots off, and he's doing it again, but these Jans really need to be on top of these skirms to be able to kill them, because now the skirms are just going to go back and just going to get drag boxed by the Dragoons, and they're going to be able to kite these Janissaries.
Trick on the skirms just to save them. That's a nice little play, that is. Good and a little bit of micro. I think Psionic was a bit risky there, trying to raid with all his Dragoons in a single mask, and you know, it's quite often we always say cavalry don't raid with all your cav, but the fact that he split the Dragoons from the skirms was a bit risky, but had enough goons to come back to kind of pick off the can cav. Not major losses. Should be time for another shipment here from France to appear very soon, and Minutemen timing will probably clean this up quite nicely. Minutemen being called skirms, about to pop out as well, and this is basically a full committal, a full send here from Otto. What can he get from this? He's just a mass delete. Yeah, fair response.
And yeah, I think it's a bit of a mass delete for, you know, coming out of frustration from Rohbrot. The play he went for was, again, a play designed to end the game early, whether it be a win or a loss. And going for only Janissaries against a Civ that is predominantly, you know, skirm goon focused in H3 just wasn't going to pan out if you don't have access to falconets or maybe Mams. So when you play this kind of play against France, you cannot really go to Spahi. They just die to Dragoons, whereas Mams don't die to anything in that composition. And when you have a sufficient amount of Janissaries, because you have been making only 1 unit, it is easier to just walk them forward as the Mams are doing what the Delhis tried to do there and just snare the entire army. If you eventually manage to get on top of these skirms and then only the Dragoons are left, then you're more of in a commanding position, because from then on you can maybe ship your 1,000 wood or add a couple of Abus in the mix and, you know, keep the potential of another skirm mass forming for France under control. But in this case, I think it was just the wrong build order shipment-wise for Rohbrot, especially for the unit comp he decided to go for.
Are you in the same team as Rohbrot?
I am.
Did you theory craft this kind of Jan play on Malaysia, or is this kind of just Rohbrot kind of doing this by himself?
This is Rohbrot doing it by himself completely. Rohbrot is a very unique player. He style of play, and he will do what he will do at the end of the day. My Malaysia game went different. Granted, I did play against Japan, so it was a little bit easier than playing on against France, which is a slightly France favored matchup on what is probably their best map in the game right now. So, yeah, tough position for him to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my final thoughts for this game is my biggest complaint about Rohbrot's game here is that the style of play he went for was very one-dimensional. There's once you kind of commit to that making Jan's H2 vet Jan coming in Falk play, it is there's no real hiddenness. There's you're on one TC, it's low Chico, you've already spent most of your livestock. You kind of that it needs to work. If it doesn't work, then we see the situation how the kind of game ended there. I think Psionic had just a little bit more flexibility and was able to kind of and got lucky with the Falcon sniper. I will say, just got lucky there. But you've got to be in it to win it, and that's where Psionic was at that right time. So fair play.
Yeah, I mean it's just the fact that Otto cannot do what it did here. If you play Otto on this map, you have to go for water, or if you see that France is going for this early 12-10, you have to try and maybe sneak in an FI and kind of surround with bullshit shipments. But this standard Jan Falk gameplay just doesn't really work against France, and especially not on a map where there's just half a minute to a minute earlier to everything they do usually, where they just get the amount of dragoons and skirmishers out. So yeah, let's get back to the home screen here and let's see if the players are ready for the next game, because it looks like they are, or they're taking another tactical break. Psionic is a smoker, so probably is taking another tactical break by the looks of things.
Don't do it, Shake. I don't need to vamp on my own again. I haven't got said.
No, I'm here.
Level.
I'm here. I did what I had to do. I'm good for another.
Fair enough. So I'm sure we'll see some Spain come out from Rohbrot. It is a 5 game series. I wonder what the other civs from Psionic are. Maybe a bit of Malta. He is a Malta enjoyer, but I just don't see it in a tournament setting. If you'd want to kind of back your ability to win with that civ, it's a bit of a risk.
Okay, I'm gonna be frank with you, Harrison. You know my love for you knows no bound, but your opinions on Malta mean jack shit. Okay, they mean jack. They mean absolutely nothing. Malta is objectively at high elo a phenomenal civ to play. The only civs you really die to either Brit because of 2 potential, or any early 2 Falk civ, which granted is the meta, but if you're gonna play against any other civ, you're just most likely gonna win. So don't play Malta against Rohbrot, because he's gonna always 2 Falk you hurting. But if you play Hausa against a civ like Sweden, Germany, France, Italy, Lakota, Iro, Hausa, Ethiopia, all these civs, Malta just does absolutely fine. They do not really struggle in these matchups. Some matchups are a bit harder than others, but the thing is, no one really came up for the actual standard gameplay for what to do with every single civ with this civ, right? This isn't a Germany or a France that is just like, okay, in this matchup we do this and this and this, right? So Malta is underexplored in that regard, but they're still a very, very good civ that just has the tools to deal with all of these civs. And I know I was kind of an ass here, but it's just true.
I suppose we need to have a Shake stream of pure Malta gameplay. Maybe get a Smurf going. And just
I already thought about it today, and I think it's in the works. It's
Nice.
definitely
I'll be looking forward to it. It does. I will admit, it does require you to play the civ much differently than you would play any other civ. And quite often, I think if you're to play the civ correctly, quite often you'd be playing an age down than your opponent and having to kind of have some really awkward fights, i.e. like crossbows into skirms, or maybe like trying to deal with must-cuss timings. And you have to really.
Why would I ever make crossbows when I have 5 billion HP, 5 speed, high attack musketeers that just run around though?
Yeah, the sentinels are kind of awkward, just flat out. They're good. They are good. They are good. But well, I don't know. You have to enlighten me with how best to play Malta.
Yeah, let's see if I can make it work. Let's hope so. So, are we ready with the next game? The next map is going to be Nile Valley, one of the worst maps in the game, and I'm going to introduce the players, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever Kraft tells me that we are ready, I'm ready to. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the worst map on AoE 3. We have on the west side of the map, in the color blue, playing as the auto Psionic, the up-and-comer, the RTS Pro from France, representing CMC. And on the right side of the map, in the color orange, we have Rohbrot playing as the United States of America. Now, one thing to note about Rohbrot, he is a very big artillery enjoyer, especially with USA, and he will not make a lot of villagers, but he is very hard to beat on this map. His USA is really good. Me and him practiced on this map. He knows what he's doing with USA. Let's hope it can translate into a win for him. But yeah, this is whenever I look at this map, like I was very, very happy, and now I'm moderately happy. I'm not all that happy and hyped anymore. I just hate this map with an absolute passion. But it is a personal bias. I think that when you're looking at it over, it's low hunt. It forces fights in the middle of the map, but I just personally really hate it. Go ahead, Harrison.
I forgot what the ESOC variation of this map was before the Africa DLC came out, because that was I think for once in a while it was like a community favorite, this map, but once it became Africa, obviously the hunts changed a little bit, but the shape of the map changed a little bit as well, which kind of makes the plateau feel very disjointed from the rest of the map. So I think there's been some bit of changes to make this map feel a little bit more awkward, but I will counter you. I say this map has a lot of character as a result. It's not just any old map. This is the Nile Valley. I think it leads to some really good games as a result. Sometimes actually encourages quite a lot of pressure to contain your opponent on their plateau, but both these series, I'm sure they'll get to the third age very safely. Your favourite card, the Chinese immigrants, coming in here for USA once again. Best card in the game. The best Civ in the game as well. And it's going to be taking over so many of the TP line. I don't think Otto can really get that second trade post secured before the other TP from China turns up there.
I mean, Otto has the possibility of opening double TP, which is actually a suboptimal build if you compare it to the TP and Mosque opening. But on this map, it's not even a bad idea, because you can take Stagecoach at a certain stage in the game, and you're also denying a full trading post for big boy chimmigrants, right? Which Rohbrot will eventually be wanting to take over from Psionic. So I wouldn't have been against seeing Psionic open up with a double TP here, but he decided to go for the higher XP build with the Mosque starting. So yeah, we are seeing a very standard age up from him as well. Probably he's going to go for the 400 wood quartermaster age up. Yes, he is. Let's see, is he aging up with the quartermaster? Craft. There we go. Quartermaster age up for Ottoman. Now, I think I know what he's going to go for. He is going to rush Rohbrot. Rohbrot is going to get two Jan forward racks. This is the eco build, the Caterboy build. I have been using this to great success on the lab. It's a strat that got me above 2200. I did it with Sweden, and now I'm doing it.
Are you saying a double racks Jan rush with an in-base market and 2 age 1 cards? Are you?
Oh yeah. This is, Harrison, one of the best builds in the game by far. So the idea behind this is that you chop enough for steel traps and hunting dogs, the first H2 shipment is gonna be 5 vills as well. So you're going super heavy on eco. And behind that, and behind that as well, you're maybe not gonna complete your first batch. You can with good treasures, but you're gonna be able to add a stable. So after the 5 vills, what I like doing is shipping 700 coin, and after this 700 wood, add a stable and a couple of houses, and then 700. And you can hit a timing with like 8 Delhi and like 30 Jans in your opponent's base at like 730. It's an absolutely insane build.
Do you remember the game that you played versus Rohbrot on Arabia? I think it was like a fun best of best of 5 show match or
Playoff 5.
whatever. Was that
Yeah.
the same strategy? Because it kind of felt poor, but then grew into it very quickly, and I can see how the 5-0 card one makes good sense and plays into it. Sudanese Red Sea wagons here from Rohbrot, though. That's a nice little play from the Sudanese. Still has Chinese immigrants as well if he wants to go for another batch soon for another trading post. And I wonder what he's going to do. Maybe forward two outposts? I mean, he could two racks it, but where's he going with them? What does he want to do with this?
Has Rohbrot scouted the forward villagers from Otto? I don't think he has. Yeah. Which, in this case, the towers are a humongous mistake. Why are you putting 2 towers in the middle of the map, racks, and leaving your base completely exposed right now?
Yeah, that's kind of awkward, isn't it? You do really want to have a bit of a scout where possible. I think he feels quite safe that he does control the middle, so any reinforcements from the town centre will walk into those outposts. I'm thinking of those 3 Delhi as well. The Philadelphia card does come in. I'm sure he's going to try and make his way to the Highlander card as well. Maybe doesn't have. Oh, well.
Yeah, he does not have the Highlander card.
He doesn't have the Seminole Archers, which is also a massive card in USA decks at the moment, and that would single-handedly probably win the game versus a double racks Jan, Rush. A couple of regulars will come out and see how he deals with this.
I don't know. I don't know how Rohbrot holds this, because this timing from Ottoman is going to be absolutely scary if you're looking over at Ottoman's perspective. He's already on 20 villagers. He's shipping in the wood, and it looks like he's going to get another at least healthy 8th Jan batch, if not a bit more. And he's going to be taking down the USATPs, and yeah, there we go. That's 6. Yeah, 7. He could have gotten 8. Did he get 8 in the end? No, he's got the 7. Yeah, okay. He could have gotten 8 even, but he's look at this. Look at his macro. He's just going to continue double batching, Harry. Like, with the capitalism and just 2 bills on coin, that's all you need to keep on double batching these Janissaries. And Rohbrot kind of can't age, and the moment he decides to age, like, how are you going to stop 5 trillion Janissaries and a couple of Delhis behind that?
Surprised Rohbrot hasn't made any state militia from the backs as well. That's also a good unit to deal versus Janissaries. The sharpshooters do come from the Philadelphia Church, good play, and Psionic might have enough to keep on marching forwards into the regulars in the base, but he's going to try and get away, and these sharpshooters having a good time. 21 range in H2 is also very disgusting, and I think the regulars should be able to pull out, and unfortunately those sharpshooters got a bit too close to the barracks, and will lose probably another one if the shot comes off. And momentarily, Rohbrot looked like he had a fantastic army, but he hasn't really reinforced. He's trying to commit to this age, to the 3rd age, which will give him the Gatlins, sharpshooters, and all that good stuff. But until that happens, it's risky.
Yeah, and the problem for Rohbrot there was really that he didn't have enough musketeers to be able to drag box his skirmishers back. Now, a couple of exposed vills there, and if Psionic's attentive, he can take a vill on. Just not, but look at this. 4 villagers just migrating somewhere on the north. Just 4 boys going out on going out camping in Africa. But yeah, they are making their way safely back.
I don't want to know what videos you watch online, but it looks like Rohbrot is committing to the HQ defense now. He has made 5 regulars, sends in another 5. Chinese immigrants has allowed him to get another trading post, which I'm not too sure he really wanted to do that. Minutemen would have been quite nice just to bolster this army and push back these Jans. What I would say about these Jans is that the mass has grown, but he hasn't actually committed and done much fighting with them just yet.
Can we switch more often between perspectives? Yeah, there we go. So Apis guns are going to come in. 700 coin is going to come in. And Rohbrot has kind of been forced to stay H2. And a bad sign for Rohbrot here, Harrison, is that Red Sea Wagons buff your score by, I think it is around 2k score. So if we're looking at it right now, Otto is kind of 2k score ahead because the scores are equal. Amos guns now being mixed in with the Jans. How is USA ever going to deal with Amos 2, especially when we don't have a stable? Our church skirmishers are gone, and we are aging to New Hampshire right now, but our entire forward base is going down. Our musketeers are being chased by Amos guns that are just going to wreck them the moment they come into contact with them, and these Janissaries can just march into the US base, and there will be very little that Rohbrot can do about it.
I'm ready.
Well, yeah, so we'll have to kind of get a miracle in with the first shipment and trying to hold and stabilize. I can see how this build is really, really strong from Otto's point of view. He's added Abus, but you could have also added in the delis as well for that real strong 2-unit composition. And it's these extra units of the Abus or the deli, which is adding so much difficulty for USA to deal with. You can't just poke it in, or you can't just try and pick off units here and there. And yeah, the Jans will just go straight for the TC. I don't think the TC will go down before the Egypt completes, but those outposts went down as well. There may be a risk of denying shipments in the Third Age, and that will be a situation which Rohbrot doesn't want to find himself in. Sight just diving in at the moment, and with more days reinforcing, these are Minutemen going down before it gets to the Age 3. It's not looking great here for Rohbrot.
It is not looking great here for Rohbrot at all, and the range advantage on these regulars has just disappeared in an instant because the Jans do what Jans do best. They march forward, they close the distance, and Rohbrot, yes, he's going to be able to hit H3, but you have nothing. You have the 5 age-up musketeers that you're going to get because he's going to H Hampshire. But what else do you have? You cannot ship any shipment that is going to win you the game at this stage.
Crazy. Again, it's like Rohbrot trying to do some sort of like Musk Falconet style of gameplay, but not electing to go for the Scottish Highlander strategy, which has been tearing up the ladder recently. And I think that would have actually given him enough master to deal with the Jans heads on, but he's now having to kind of panic sending 8 regulars. He's got another batch coming in, but it's going to be a batch of 1. He's got no way to research veteran regulars behind. He's scraping at the bottom of the barrel. This TC is likely to go down. He's just tapped out there, and a very decisive, clean victory there for Psionic, piloting the famous Shake build, or whoever made this one up. And
It's the Keter build.
The Keter boy build. And your boy who's on top form today is being pushed over by Psionic, playing his different civs, and I think somebody was saying that the EPL competition is still going on as a result because of this scoreline.
Is it? I'm not sure. It could be. I'm not really sure, but if someone in the chat can clarify that for us, that would be really, really nice. But yeah, I mean, Rohbrot is has lost a couple of games here. Psionic is looking like finally, he is definitely now going to get his first ESOC victory. Congratulations, first of all, to Psionic, because regardless what happens next game, he has won this series with winning this 4th game and taking the series lead. And this build was just, I mean, the last couple of games, it's kind of been a build order victory. Everything okay? Oh, okay. So it looks like we're probably going to have Harrison have to take over the producing here because Kraft has to go.
Send me the stream key.
Yeah, so please, if you can, just send us the stream key so Harry can take over. Thank you for what you've done so far, Kraft. Appreciate you a lot. Just send us over the stream key, and ladies and gentlemen, right back to